All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or banking decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, good morning to you, Dennis. Pretty mild, 8-point range here in the S&Ps. Still hanging out below settlement, though.
Yeah, we've had a pretty quiet overnight session here, Joel. Not too much happening. 8-point, pretty tight ranged. Dow reporting earnings, but really not too much else happening.
Okay, the current high stands at 1364. That's about 2 points shy of yesterday's intraday high at 1365.75. If that holds as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 1350. The current low stands 1356.50. If that holds as the low of the day, we have an upside target of 1370.50. I just want to alert our listeners to the 1355 area. We had yesterday's low at 1355.75. Friday's intraday low at 1355 and Friday's Globex low at 1353. So sitting above some critical support here this morning. Let's see if it can hold and continue our trek north. Moving on to the Big Ten, Dennis, the oils are pretty strong yesterday. ExxonMobil plowing to a new high, 86.78, closing just 20 cents off that at 86.57. We'll use that high 86.78 up to the $87 levels, our major resistance. 87.94 has been the high of the move, and of course the 52-week high is just above that. Coming back on the downside, if we can't hold the settlement here, I look for a test of yesterday's low at 86.04.
Yeah, it looks like the new range, 86.04 being the low there yesterday. So, and that was a number where we were topping out. So if you believe resistance becomes support, it did yesterday. So maybe that 86 area finds some support again. Seeing a little size form at the 87 to go along with your resistance there from 86.78 all the way up to 87. I think you will find a little bit of high frequency resistance there. Above there, it opens up until that high that you had mentioned as well there, Joel, the 87.94 area.
Okay, Apple Computer continues to just befuddle investors here. After that significant reversal last week, this thing has worked its way all the way back up to the 515 level, topping out at 514.85. That was the high and the close. I saw it bouncing around market, but that will be an important level today, 514.85. Really no significant resistance above that level until the all-time high, but I'm sure there'll be some stopping points along the way. Coming back on the downside, as long as we hold this 511.27, I think you still have to be a buyer. Below 511.27, this thing is going to go down through that area just like it went up yesterday, like air.
Such a hard stock to short, Joel. You look at this thing and it's just, you're getting a little pullback here today, but it seems like every pullback it's met with more buyers. Wouldn't surprise me if he does eventually test up to that 526.29 52-week high, and if it takes that out, you do not want to be short this stock. But so keep that number obviously in mind on the upside. On the downside, 504.12, the low from yesterday. If we start to really roll and get the ball rolling down, that'll give you some support.
Okay, Chevron Corporation kind of busted out of that range yesterday, actually gapping up above that major resistance at 107.50, coming back down and just testing that area briefly before taking off, making a high at 108.50. That'd be your major resistance. Above there, you probably get a little selling at the 109 level. But the major resistance stands at 110.99, which is the all-time high, a few bucks away from there. If, in fact, we do come back on the downside and take out Tuesday's low at 107.24, I think you got a nice little ride down to Friday's low at 106.04.
Not seeing too much at 109, but at 110 there's a little bit. It starts at 110 and then obviously all the way up to that 110.99 you're going to get some major resistance. But I think you'll get some initial resistance in the high 109s. So sticking a little away from my whole number theory, I don't think you're going to see that much at 109 itself, but at 110, I think you're going to see some pretty significant resistance.
You think these oil stocks have been responding to the high oil prices?
Oh, for sure. That definitely continues to propel these things higher. Across the board yesterday, the entire oil sector was just very strong. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm always a big fan of those 2-3 day moves. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little pullback if the move does start to continue on later on in the session.
Okay, how could I skip IBM there, Dennis? I guess because it's it's still stuck in that range. Did sneak its head over 194 yesterday, getting 194.24, ahead of the 8-day high at 194.46. Kind of the pattern here, depending on how much heat you're willing to take in that 194 area up to the 194.90 area. It's just been hit that area every time and pull back. I'm gonna have major support moving up here. I was looking at this 190.83 low, but right now you got three lows between 192 and 192.46. So the support is definitely moving up there in the IBM. But now I'd be looking for a little bit more of a breakdown if it can't hold that 192 level.
Joel, and you've got this number right on this. Every time the stock gets into the 194s, it's just met with sellers and it gives it back. So if we go back even to early December here, we were up there 1, 2, 3 times over 194. That's actually the couple days where we made the high up there at 194.90. And then if we go earlier this month, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth time we've been up over 194 and not held. So I mean, keep trading it that way until it doesn't work. It's actually trading 192.71. So if you sold it yesterday in the 194s, you're already up over $1.30 again here. So I'd keep scalping out that point or two and keep selling the 194s until this thing breaks above 195.
What do you think? You think Warren's trying to wiggle out of some stock
I
here?
don't know. Somebody's trying to wiggle out in the 194s because this thing, what? We've had Apple rally, monster rally. We've had the whole tech sector monster rally. The stock hasn't participated at all. So somebody, and it's had a little bit of buying pressure. So somebody's met equal selling pressure in those 194s to hold the price down. So until it gets above that 195, Joel, I don't know. Somebody seems to be dumping it there.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Softy. I saw. What do you have for the high net, Dennis? I didn't see a print above 31.52, and then I looked at the end of the day, and there's a 31.61 print up there. Did you get that as well?
I didn't log it from yesterday. I know your trade station does log those prints. Mine actually just logs today's prints. Today I've got a high of 31.44 only, if that's correct.
Okay.
Is that what you have? 31.44 today?
No, I was looking at. I was getting some mixed.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see a print above 31.52, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
That goes well with Thursday's high at 31.55, which has been the high of the move. Major resistance there. If in fact Mr. Softy can break above that area, looks like we'll be traveling up to that $32 level. Closed near the higher end of its range, 31.44, so opening up into some good resistance there. Coming back on the downside, you had a couple double closes 5 to 28 area. That'd be minor support. Tuesday's lows, 31.15, so we'll look for that as a downside target if we're short that stock, but seems to be holding firmly above 31 here, Dennis.
Yes, it is here, Joel. Microsoft just continues to hold up strong. It's that consolidation period that we were talking about, and it's kind of maybe going to consolidate here. Obviously, still making a new high though yesterday, so I think the stock eventually might test that 32 area.
Okay, GE. Well, it did manage to get through that 1932 level, and it gapped through it. Went up to 1950, just short of that major resistance. That was a July 22nd high we had there at 1953. That's quite a while ago. Couldn't get above there. Settled the close in 1941. I'm sure those folks that missed selling it 1948, 1949 will be there today. So 1950, a major level. In GE, above that, we have some highs back in May in 1972. Coming back on the downside, the old Friday's high, Tuesday low trick there at 1932. GE still poised to move higher as long as we hold that 1932 area.
Yeah, and the stock's starting to look like it is going to break out here, Joel. Wouldn't surprise me if it starts to make that run for $20 here over the course of the next week or so. $20 is enormous up there. You know, there's going to be just enormous institutional size. It's just such a key psychological level for this stock. We haven't seen it, you know, going back 9 months ago. So I think eventually that's maybe where it wants to go, Joel. It's 20.
You're still bullish up here, huh, Dennis?
Well, I'd be a buyer of pullbacks here. I'm a little iffy, you know, because he just had a 40-cent run in this thing, and 40 cents seems to be a big move for GE. But if it got back into that 19 area, I'd love to try a long down there and maybe the move back up. But sometimes these things just continue to follow through. So I'm bullish of stock. I think it sees $20 before it sees 19.
Okay, how about we go a beer on that one?
I want to do the 1995 because all those high frequency guys, you know, I like to sit in front of that night and then that 20, so they may hold it down so it doesn't quite get to the 20. So I'll do 1995. I'll give you 1895. How's that?
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Procter Gamble, Dennis, finally broke its string of 10 consecutive higher lows yesterday. That one did catch my attention early in the session. Spent a little time over 65, hit that 64.90 level, and gave a little bit back. Got to 64.35, just closed slightly above that to 64.42 level. I look for continued weakness in the stock. If we do take out that 64.35, perhaps sneaking back down to the 64.06 level, which was our 6-day low and last week's low as well. Coming back on the upside now that we're this far away from the $65 level. Tuesday's high, 65.04, should be major resistance.
Your string of higher lows was broken there yesterday. We kind of anticipated it with the week closing on Friday that it might get broken there on Monday and obviously, or on Tuesday, I'm sorry, and obviously it did. Stock pulling back to 64.42, closing pretty weak as well, just off the low of the day. So I'd look, you know, if it takes out that low of 64.35, I think you might see $64 in this.
Okay, that's a pretty okay, 60. Moving on to J&J, double top, 64.24 to 65.24 to 65.28 Friday. We did manage to get a close above 65. The pre-market here, so opening up into that major resistance there. You might have to take a little heat, shorten it at the 65.28 level, but it's really backed up by some multi-day highs at 65.39 and 65.58. So J&J opening up into some resistance here. Coming back on the downside, it got a nice level. Tuesday and Friday's lows only 6 cents apart. So look for that to be good support. And then we're looking at the bottom of this range, Dennis, 65.25. It's been holding up forever. It's starting to weigh a little bit though on the 64 area.
Yeah, the 64.25. I think you said 65.25. 64.25 is where you meant there, Joel. And yeah, that has been the bottom of the range. I'm going to continue to just reiterate this because you're gonna say, oh well, why do you keep saying the same thing on the show on this every day? Well, we're trying to reiterate to you because the trade is the same every day. You got to sell this thing probably in the mid 65s because that's what happened the 2 months ago, which we've been saying it's forming the same chart formation that it did 2 months ago. It's going to probably get some resistance like it did back here in the mid 65s. So this thing gets in the mid 65s. I think personally it's a sell. And I think it's a cover in the mid 64s as this thing starts to move down. So for you swing traders out there, if you're looking to make 50, 60 cents, that's been the trade back a month and a half ago, and I think it'll continue to be the trade going forward here until we can get above that 66 area.
Yeah, also when you look at the last time it bounced off this area, was able to get back to 66, but this time it's really having a hard time doing it. So sellers are stepping in a little bit. Pfizer Corporation couldn't get up to that Friday and weekly high, which was 21.48. Got stymied at 21.32 with a 21.22 close. Have a bunch of lows from 21.05 to 21.12, so this thing is thickening up right above the $21 level. 20.80 is our major support. That's our 10-day low. Doesn't look like we're going to see it today, though.
I think it's really thickening up, Joel, there. 20 cent range.
Okay.
Man.
Yep. Okay, S&P's kind of hanging out in the lower quadrant of its range here, just a buck above our major support at 1355 level. We're going to take a quick break, post our market movers for you. We'll be right back.